The purpose of this video is to provide an overview of procedures in the Alice Interactive development environment. This environment supports the creation of a virtual world, a scene with actors and props, and a program, the script for the story or game being built. The Alice built-in procedures are the fundamental building blocks for creating Alice programs. After starting Alice, the user is prompted to create or open a project. When the project opens, Alice displays the code editor of the Alice programming environment. The code editor has 4 different panels: the camera view, the editor, the methods panel, and the controls panel. For more on the components of the code editor, watch the code editor overview video. To follow along, go to the scene editor and add 2 objects. Then return to the code editor by clicking on the Edit Code button. The Methods panel contains the tiles which are placed in the editor for the creation of the program code. In this video, we will focus on the Procedures tab of the Methods panel. Procedures can generally be described as methods that perform an action. The Procedure tab will display the procedures available for the object selected in the drop-down menu found at the top of the Methods panel. The Objects menu allows the programmer to choose which object they wish to give direction to. This menu displays all the objects currently available to the programmer based on what objects have been added to the scene. It should be noted that the keyword "this" refers to the scene object. Different objects may have different procedural methods available to them. The camera will have procedures that the scene object does not have, and the Mad Hatter will have procedures that the camera does not have. Explore the different objects to see what built-in procedures have been provided. The code editor provides a drag-and-drop environment where method and control tiles are dragged into the edit space to create instructions that compose a program. To add a procedure to your program, all you need to do is drag it into the code editor in the empty space available. To try this, select one of the objects in your scene from the Object menu. Click on the Procedures tab if necessary. Find the Move instruction and drag it into the Editor panel. When a procedure is added to the code editor, a series of submenus will appear depending on the arguments required to execute the direction. In the case of the Move procedure, Alice will prompt you for the direction and the distance for the move. Default values have been added to the drop-down, but in most cases there will also be a custom input option that allows you to type or use a number input to choose your own value. Alice requires you to fill these out so that the code is always complete and functional. Don't worry if you are not sure of the value you want to support, as you can easily edit these later. Click on the Run button to test your code. The instruction may be modified in the editor by clicking on the yellow argument components that have small arrow next to them. Selecting these components will bring up a drop-down menu showing the available options for substitution. In our example of the Move procedure, you can edit the instruction by changing the object to a different object in the scene and the direction and distance of the move. To show how the required arguments are different between procedures, let us look at adding a turn command. Select the object you wish to turn, drag it into the editor. You will see the submenus that appear for selecting the direction of the turn and the amount of the turn. The amount of the turn is measured in percentage of a rotation. For example, an amount value of 0.5 is directing the object to make 1/2 a turn, or to turn around. An instruction may be deleted from the editor by right-clicking on the instruction and choosing Delete from the menu, or by dragging the instruction tile to the Methods panel. You can also disable and enable code through the same drop-down. Disabling code will omit it when running your program. This is a good way to disable parts of your code to focus on testing specific procedures when debugging your code. Almost every Alice procedure has an optional details argument associated with it. These details modify the way the procedure behaves in some way. The most common details include duration, style, and as seen by. Duration specifies how long the animation will take. Style specifies how the animation executes. And as seen by specifies the point of view the animation will use to execute. The Procedures tab may be organized either by category or alphabetically. The different categories for the procedures include Say or Think, which generates text bubbles for the character or prop to say or think something. Position procedures provide different forms of movement throughout the scene. It should be noted that the Move To procedure will move the object so that it is in exactly the same location in the scene, aligning its pivot point with the pivot point of the target object. Orientation procedure provides different ways of changing the orientation of an object in the scene. It should be noted that the Orient To procedure aligns the object so it is facing the same direction as the target object. Move and Orient To combines the Move To and Orient To procedures so that an object moves to the same location as the target object and will face the same direction. Size procedures allow an object to be rescaled along the different dimensions of the object. It should be noted that most resizing of Alice objects is proportional. In other words, if the height of an object is resized, its depth and width will be rescaled proportionally. Appearance and atmosphere procedures allow you to change the visual aspects of the object, such as its color or opacity. Vehicle allows you to attach an object to another object to mirror its movements. Audio procedures allow you to add sound to your world. Timing procedures allow you to do things related to when things happen. Delays come in useful for helping align when things should happen in the world. Finally, there are other procedures that modify the various properties of an Alice object, such as straighten out the joints, which brings the character back to their starting pose after having been manipulated. The area found at the top of the list will list custom procedures that you have created under the different class categories shared by the object. More on that will be covered in how to create new methods. Other videos and tutorials will explain many of these procedures in more detail.